There are these metal statues of kidnapped Korean teenage girls who were made to serve as slaves for the Japanese military during World War II. But the history is not even clear. So I'm legally defending Johnny, kind of. So I guess I'm Jewish too.
I made a new YouTube and I put in Hank's name and save and gets home. Like, this is my mission.
Yeah.
To protect free speech.
Yes, that Hank you disrespected them. And not just in passing. No, he boldly questioned the very history behind them, reducing a nation's collective pain into something to mock for views.
Girls who were made to serve as slaves for the Japanese military during World War II. But the history is not even clear that
And here's the kicker, he did it all on camera. But are we even surprised at this point? This is the same guy who's never shown any real respect for South Korean culture, people, or history. This isn't his first time crossing the line, but this time, he might have gone way too far. So today, we're breaking it all down. What Hank actually said, why it's enraged thousands, and how deep his disrespect really goes. Stick around, because by the end of this video, there's an update that might show Hank is finally facing real consequences. Let's start with the facts. This isn't just a random guy we're talking about. Hank Yu isn't some low-level troll. He's the self-proclaimed legal defender and guardian of Johnny Somali, one of the most controversial online figures in recent history. You've probably seen the clips. Hank standing next to Johnny, helping him out at immigration offices, even claiming to be his official legal guardian in Korea. Johnny didn't keep this a secret either, he bragged about it. Used Hank's name like a shield, justified his behavior with it. And when things started going downhill, Johnny doubled down. Claimed Hank was helping him behind the scenes. Legally, strategically, even financially. This isn't just friendship. This is a full-on partnership in chaos.
You're my designated legal guardian, right?
Yes.
He's been to the immigration offices many times with me. So if I do go on the run or go jump the DMZ, jump the border, and disappear, this is actually he's my official legal guardian in Korea.
But here's where things start spiraling. Recently, Hank started speaking about the Statue of Peace, suggesting that the history isn't even clear.
There are these metal statues of kidnapped Korean teenage girls who were made to serve as slaves for the Japanese military during World War II. But the history is not even clear that whether they were slaves or willing.
There's still debate on it. If you go to Japan, they say that didn't happen. Some people say it's not a political stance, what I did to the statue. But technically, because I feel like this live streaming is my expression. It's how I express myself. Yes. It's an art form to me.
He implied that some of the girls may not have been forced, and that the statue itself might not be necessary. Let that sink in. He questioned the very existence of a monument that honors victims of wartime sexual slavery. He essentially rewrote history, live on stream, then tried to justify it by saying his live streaming is a form of art. That's not art. That's not free speech. That's willful ignorance, and it's deeply offensive. Let's be clear, the Statue of Peace isn't just another monument. It's a powerful national symbol. It honors the pain, the trauma, and the survival of women who were robbed of their futures. It's a physical reminder of Japan's war crimes and Korea's fight for justice. For Hank to casually dismiss its importance, while being a guest in that country, is beyond disrespectful. And what does Johnny Somali say about it? That he did nothing wrong. That mocking the statue wasn't a big deal. Come on. Even if Johnny didn't physically destroy the statue, the intent behind the mockery speaks volumes. And Hank, he backed him up, defended the behavior, framed it as expression. But here's the deeper issue. Hank knows exactly what he's doing. He's enjoying the chaos. Because he believes as long as Johnny's the main target, no one will come after him. The police are too focused on Johnny. The headlines? All Johnny. And Hank, he gets to fly under the radar, stirring the pot, hiding behind the curtain. But that curtain's starting to slip. Even members of the legal community are beginning to question Hank's role. People are asking, when Johnny gets sentenced, does Hank go down with him? If Johnny ends up serving time, which is likely, Hank will no longer have a human shield to hide behind. And guess what? When that happens, don't be surprised if Hank throws Johnny under the bus. Because that's what people like this do. As soon as the clout dries up, as soon as the backlash becomes too hot to handle, they bail.
If Johnny gets jail time, which is presumptively, he's going to get presumptively, the assumption is he's going to get some time behind bars. I think that's when Hank realizes, oh, shoot, my gig's up. Now, the only attention Hank can get is if he turns on Johnny, and I think he will turn on Johnny. And frankly, Johnny will abandon Hank. And when Johnny eventually, after he serves his time, goes back to the U.S., and Hank's left all alone, the only way for Hank to get attention is to turn on Johnny.
The same way Johnny blamed his audience for egging him on, Hank will do the same. He'll act like he was just an innocent bystander. Like he didn't know what was going on. But we have the footage. We have the statements. We've seen how many times they were at the police station. 30 times, according to Johnny himself. This isn't passive association. This is active participation.
So do you think I'm like a chaos? Like I brought chaos into your life?
Kind of, but I don't really hate it because it also brought some enlightenment.
How many times do you think we've been to the police station together?
Huh?
How many times do you think we've been to the police station together?
Shit, man, like 30 times.
30 times. Sometimes people say that I'm radical. People say that I'm crazy, and I feel like we and Hank today all the time. I always tell Hank, you're fucking crazy, you're psycho. But Hank's like, it only takes a crazy psycho to take care and make sure the most hated person in my country is alive and well and safe and gets home. Like, this is my mission.
Yeah.
To protect free speech.
And it doesn't end there. There's also the bizarre dream these two seem to share, where Johnny Somali becomes president of the United States and uses that power to lift Hank's ban from America. Yes, you heard that right. Hank is currently banned from entering the US. And Johnny believes that if he somehow becomes president one day, he'll bring Hank back.
The charge against you was you were mentally ill. It's the government's perspective, not saying you are, and that you bought a firearm without checking that box.
Yeah, well,
Is that what the charge? Why'd you get? I don't understand why that was 8 years though. Hank is too real for America. Would you say that? You're too real?
for
I think
current
you're too real for America.
for current America, yes. For current world, yes.
If I become president, I'm gonna let you come back to America.
They've even joked about naming a YouTube channel after Hank to avoid bans. Delusional? Absolutely. Dangerous? You bet. Because these aren't harmless trolls anymore. They're people actively pushing narratives that damage national reputations, offend survivors, and trivialize historic suffering. And now, Hank's saying he's on a mission to protect free speech. But what kind of speech are we talking about here? Speech that mocks victims of war crimes? Speech that insults an entire culture? Speech that humiliates random strangers on the street? That's not free speech. That's targeted harassment, dressed up in buzzwords. And yes, Johnny Somali hasn't physically hurt anyone. But emotional and cultural damage runs deep. When you mock a nation's pain, you're doing more than trolling. You're undoing years of healing. You're reopening wounds that entire communities have fought hard to close. So what now? South Korea can't just sit back. Because as long as Johnny and Hank feel untouchable, this won't stop. The disrespect will continue. The mockery will escalate. And more people will be harmed, emotionally, socially, and yes, maybe even physically down the line. The authorities need to start looking beyond Johnny Somali. Because the mastermind behind the chaos might just be the guy standing quietly in the background, smiling like none of this will ever touch him. But it will. Because when Johnny goes down, Hank won't have anyone left to hide behind. And when that happens, the full weight of their actions, mocking statues, disrespecting victims, and humiliating an entire nation, will finally catch up to them both. And they'll realize something. Free speech doesn't mean freedom from consequences.